So let's talk about this topic. It's a part 2 topic in an IELTS exam. It's about describe a historical building you have visited. A historical building. You know, a historical building, is it a new building or is it a kind of old or ancient building? Which one?
Historical places, it means ancient.
Right. Yes, correct. So, ancient, very old building you have visited. So, while describing this, it's a good idea that you talk about the key points or the bullet points that are provided for you. So, of course, it is not necessary to answer all of these bullet points, but to have a good and nice full conversation, which stands something around 1.5 minutes up to 2 minutes in part 2 speaking of IELTS. So it's a good idea to talk about these bullet points all in all, and try to extend your expression. Now we are going to help together and find some answers. And while doing this, after doing this, we can find a kind of a general idea, and you can talk about, hopefully you can talk about the historical place that you yourself have visited. All right, so think about it. First, when it comes to historical building, what places can you remember? Can you name some of the historical buildings that comes to your mind?
تخت جمشید.
تخت جمشید, or yes, تخت جمشید. All right, what else?
Nasirul-Mulk.
What? So, which mosque?
Masjid Nasirul-Mulk.
Nasirul-Mulk. In which city is this?
Shiraz.
Yes, Nasirul-Mulk Mosque. What about out of Iran? Do you remember any historical place?
Ali Qapı, for example.
Out of Iran.
Out of Iran.
Burj Eiffel.
Eiffel Tower. Eiffel, yes, Eiffel Tower. Very good. What else? Pizza Tower.
Some mosques in Turkey.
Yeah, some mosques in Turkey. Pizza Tower. You know, it's in Rome. Yeah, it's in Italy. And what else? For example, you can remember Taj Mahal in India. Taj Mahal. Yeah. What about in Greece? Do you remember any place in Greece?
Kaaba مثلا نمیشه.
Yeah, Kaaba.
Yes. Some pyramid in Egypt.
Yes, pyramids. Pyramids. Yes, the pyramids, or the great pyramids. Very good. What else? Sorry?
China Wall.
Ah, yeah, China Wall. All right. You don't need to translate it in Farsi. Try to say it in English. Forget about Farsi. I don't understand Farsi in this class. All right. So, China Wall. What else? Can you name other? For example, Acropolis in Greece. Yeah. Acropolis. Yeah. Okay. So now we have found some of the buildings that we want to talk about. So take one of these and focus your answers that you want to give to me on the place, on one of these things. For example, I might take Taj Mahal. All right? What about you, Farhad? Which one are you going to talk about? Take one of them.
I think Takht Jamshid in
Takht
Iran,
Jamshid.
because I
All
have
right.
no
Takht
information
Jamshid.
about that.
All right. All right. You don't have any information? Try to
No, it is familiar more for me,
more
more than the
familiar
other.
for you. Okay. All right. That's good. And Hamida, what about you?
نصر الملک.
Nasir al-Mulk. All right. Okay. Nasir al-Mulk, Musk. Sorry, I have written mosquito. So Musk. Okay. So Nasir al-Mulk, Musk. Good. Now, we should talk about, first of all, when we want to start talking about a historical building. How can you start your speaking? Tell me.
Well, I think it's better to start with its place. Where is it?
Yes, but how to start your sentence, I mean, while talking about this place? How are you going to start?
I would to talk about a place which is, for example, placed in the south of Iran. I mean, Takht Jamshid. I would to talk about.
So, that's good. When you say that, well, it's a good starter, I think. Yeah. So we can say, just give me a second. Bear with me. All right. So I'm trying to write something here. All right. Well, let me make it larger so I can see it. All right. Okay. Well, the place that I will, or I am going to talk about is, or you can say, instead of is, you can say is called, or you can say what? Is named. Yeah. And then you give the name of that place. So first, you have to give the name of the place. And after that, you can say, talk about, for example, the place of it, which city, which country it is in, or which part of the world it is in. For example, I would say that the place that I'm going to talk about is called Takht Jamshid, is called Taj Mahal, which is located in Agra in India. In Agra in India. Agra is the city of the where the Taj Mahal could be spotted, could be found. All right. So what about you? How would you say that? Can you say your own place? Starting with Farhad. Farhad, can you start saying?
The place I am going to talk about that is called Takht Jamshid, which is located in the south of Iran, Fars, Shiraz.
Which is
located in the south of Iran.
In the south? What is that? You mean south? South?
South.
Well,
south
yes.
of Iran.
Yes, south. So south, yeah, which is in the south of Iran. South of Iran. All right. Or north of India, or in the center of, for example, Greece. Yes, good. So, what about you, Hamide? How you would say that? How would you start it? Well,
the place that I will go to talk
about. No. Not like that. We don't connect well with that place. We don't say, well, the place. No. Well, okay. The place that I'm going to talk about, like this.
The place that I am going to talk about is Nasir al-Mulk Mosque.
Is Nasir al-Mulk Mosque. Which
Sure.
is? Which is?
And which is located in Shiraz.
Very good. Which is located? Which is located, or which is which could be found in, for example, south of Iran, north of Iran, or south of Iran, in a city called, again, Shiraz. Very good, very good. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, then after this, what we can talk about?
About the age, for example. Its
Yes.
age.
Yes, exactly. You know, when you want to talk more about this, so we are adding information more than where it is. So up to here, we answered the first question, or the first bullet point. Where it is, we excellent, in a best way, we started to say where it is. And then what it looks like. When you are going to talk about what it looks like, which part of which sentences or which ideas can you tell about or talk about? For example, one of them you mentioned, Farad. When we want to talk about how it looks like, or how it looks like, we can talk about age of that building. What else? We can talk about
Its construction is
very
made
good.
of.
Yes, construction. By construction, we can say that, for example, how it looks like. We can say that whether the construction is a tall building or whether it's a flat construction. Yeah, or whether, what kind of constructions do you know, guys? For example, for ancient, for historical buildings.
It is made of a stone, for example, wood.
Very
like
good.
this.
So the construction you are talking about, its composition. When you say that what it is made of, means that you are talking about its composition, or what is made of. So it is made of, you can say that it is made of. So yes, so it's a tall building, or no, it's a flat construction, or you can say that it's a multiple story building. What does it mean, story here? Multiple story building.
Small.
Multiple means many, and the story here means level, huh?
Oh, yes.
So a building with many levels, like a high rising, like a high rise. Yeah, like a high rise. Yeah. Or yeah. So you can, about the age, you can say that it is a 100-year-old building. 100-year-old, for example, a 50-year-old, 1,000-year-old. You see, when you are putting 100-year-old as an adjective, I mean that before a noun, you shouldn't use s with year. So we say that it's a 100-year-old building, or it's a 100-year-old high-rise. It's a 500-year-old flat construction. You see? So no s, because it's an adjective. As an adjective, no s. And, or you can say that it's quite new. Quite new means very new. So if it's a new building, it's not historical anymore. So here, we are not going to talk about quite new ones. Or you can say that it's a rather means almost. It's a rather ancient building. Means that you know that it's an aged, or it's an old building, but you're not sure how old it is. Yeah, so it's a rather ancient building. Okay, or you can say it's an antique. Antique means very old. Okay, sometimes you can talk about that. How does it look like by its appearance? Is it attractive? Is it colorful? Or is it only white? You can talk about its color. Yes? So use these adjectives. Right? So what it looks like. So let's go. Again, we are going back to talk about how it looks like. For example, for me, Taj Mahal. Let me put it in this way. The place that I'm going the place that I am talking about. Sorry?
Place that. After place that.
Yes, you can omit that. So that is optional here. The place that, or the place I'm talking about, is a rather ancient, tall building with lots of, for example, colors on its outer walls. You see, the place that I'm talking about is a rather ancient, tall building. You see, ancient and tall are both adjectives for a building with lots of colors on its outer walls. What about your answer? Can you tell me how is your place look like? Can you
Well, because at the first of sentence we told about the place that I am going, and in continuation after that, how can I start it? Well,
I told you.
I told
Sorry,
at
Sam.
first, well, the place that I am going to talk about that is for now, but after that, how can I continue?
That's it.
In order to
even in your Farsi, how do you connect them? Just full
Connect
sentence.
them.
Stop it. You stop it and then connect it. Well, the place that I'm going to talk about is called Taj Mahal, which is located in the Agra city in India. The place I'm talking about is rather an ancient, tall building with lots of colors on its outer layers. See? Simple. You don't need any connection. Why? Because when I say the place that I'm talking about, this that I'm talking about is connecting your sentence to the previous sentences by itself. So one way of connecting sentences is by using transition words like, for example, I don't know, in addition, moreover, things like that. But sometimes you are using adjective clause or you're using adverb clause to extend your speaking, right? And when I said, again, when I'm repeating the word the place and then I am using adjective clause, this the place is repeating the place that I'm talking about in the first sentence. So don't worry about it. It is connected by itself. I mean, the whole story shows that these sentences are connected. And I haven't changed the topic of this story. Yeah? It is still the same story. Right. So the place I'm talking about is rather an ancient building. Yeah? And I just forgot this one because it's one building. Yes? An ancient, tall building with lots of colors on its outer walls. What about you? How would you say this sentence about your own place?
Okay, please tell me. Start at first. Well, I'm going. The place I'm going to talk about that is Takht Jamshid, which is located in the south of Iran. Takht Jamshid is an ancient tall building with lots of colors on its outer walls.
All right, but can you change to some other things? Does your tax sheet has really lots of colors on its outer walls? Does it really?
The examiner
Change it.
doesn't
No, it is
have
my
any
sentence.
information about that.
It is my sentence. Don't use the same sentence. Don't
Okay.
use the same things. I mean that use the same formula, but change things like this. The place I'm talking about is rather a flat, almost, we can say that almost demolished, yes, almost demolished debris of an old castle, yes, with lots of columns in it. You see?
Takhti Jamshid is an ancient tall building with full of painting, beautiful painting on its wall.
All right. Okay. That's okay, but is it really true about Takhti Jamshid? It's just for my own record. Do you see any colors when you go to Takhti Jamshid?
No.
No. So why are you copying my
painting?
Okay. I mean that use other words, use other adjectives, other ideas about your thing. You don't need to copy the same things with lots of colors on it. You can use some other things. It's almost a, it's an ancient, you can say, instead of tall building, you can say that it's an ancient remnant. Yeah? You know, remnant? When an old building is damaged and is demolished, only some walls or only some columns of the walls or a little part of it has remained, we call it a remnant of the building. Yeah? Right? So you can say that, for example, it's a kind of remnant of an old castle. It's a remnant of an, for example, what? It's an adjective. Adjective. For example, castle or mansion or whatever building it is. Even it's a garden. Maybe it's the place that you're talking about is a garden. Yes? Or whatever. With lots of colors or with lots of paintings, with lots of drawings, with lots of, for example, verses. You know verse, huh? For example, Hafiz, has its verses. Shakespeare has composed verses or poems. Yeah? On its outer walls, on its, for example, ceilings. You see, there are lots of things that you can use instead of the same things. With outer walls, ceilings, or on pillars. Yeah? Okay. Hamide, can you talk about your own place saying the same thing?
Okay. Well, the place that I will going to talk about is...
I am talking about or I will talk about. After will, simple form.
I will talk about is National Mosque, which is located in south of Iran, in Shiraz. Place I am talking is a rather ancient flat construction with many different colors. More special pink tile.
What was this? More special thing? What did you say? More? After more what?
More special.
More special?
منظورم که بگم به خصوص
especially
صورت.
Especially
pink tile.
With pink tiles. Yes, very good.
Pink tile.
Yes, very good.
That is known as pink mosque.
Very good. All right. That's good. That's good. Farhad, do you want to again say it again? the same sentence. The place that I'm talking about is
Okay, thank you. تخت جمشید is an ancient remnant of a castle with lots of drawing on it.
okay. So guys, sorry. When I put an here, I told you an, for example, an old castle or an something like that. But if you don't use an adjective here, so a castle with lots of, sorry, can you repeat? With lots of?
تخت جمشید is an ancient remnant of old castle with
Of
lots
an
of
old
drawing
castle with lots of?
of an old castle with lots of drawing on it.
Drawings on it, on not
On it.
on it. When we use it, we need what? We need nouns after it. For example, on its walls, on its ceilings, on its pillar. But if you don't, if you are not using anything after it, you should use it as it. So on it. That's it. Okay? Good. Right. Let's go back again. What else should we talk about? We should talk about why you went there. What took you there? So you can say that, for example, I was tired. Or you can say that we went there on a tour. Or you can say that we went there with friends, or I went there with my friends. I went there along with my friends. What else can you say about why you went there?
We went for studying for my survey.
Very good, very good. It was a field trip. I went there because on a field trip. I went there on a field trip. You know field trip, huh? Field trip is a trip that you go for studying something, to get experience about something that you are studying about. I went there on a field trip. Yep. Okay. Very good. Or what else? I went there as part of my vacation. As part of vacation. So this is why you went there. So you can say that where it is, what it looks like. When you want to talk about why you went there, so you can mention that exactly when you went there, or approximately when you went there. Did you go there about 2 days ago? Last month? Last year? 2 years ago? 5 years ago? When? And you can mention that I was there with my friends and we went there, for example, on a tour, on a field trip. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this one. I visited, can I start saying that? I visited, or I paid a visit. I paid a visit to this building as part of my field trip last year. You see? I visited, or I paid a visit to this building as part of my field trip. Or you can say that I was lucky to visit this place. Or if you go somewhere and by chance you see something. For example, you are walking in a city, a new city, as a kind of traveler, and you come across a new building by chance. You can use this phrasal verb. I came across this building. I came across this building as part of my field trip last year. Means that I came across means that I saw it by chance. I didn't have any plan to see this place, but when I was passing by, I saw it. Okay, as part of my field trip. Or you can say that when I was on a vacation with my family or with my friends or something like that last year. You see? So I visited, for me, is like this. I visited, or I was lucky to see this place, Taj Mahal, as part of my field trip when I was a student, when I was a master's student, and I wanted to complete my studies about my thesis. So I plan to go there and see this place and get some idea and experiences about the culture and the construction, just 101. 101 means that's just as I attend there and see there in my eyes. All right? Okay, what about you? How can you say about your own place?
I paid a visit 2 years ago with my best friend as a part of my field trip.
As a part of my field trip. Good. Yeah, okay, good.
I mentioned about the when, about who with who, and about why.
Yeah, but try to be a little more extended when you are talking about things like that. I mean that try to give a sentence, or at least 2 or 3 sentences, which covers about 4 lines. You see, for each bullet points, it's a good idea, for each bullet points of these things, it's a good idea to give about 3 to 4 lines or 3 to 4 sentences so that you can fill in 1.5 minutes up to 2 minutes while talking about historical buildings. I mean that if you answer each part of these bullet points or each of these bullet points in a sentence which is 1 line, you will never make a 2-minute speaking. I mean, you come short of time.
It is my sentence. I can describe about my classmate Ali. Ali was my classmate. We were studying at the same university. Is it good?
Yes, but try to don't change the subject of thing. If you talk about your friend a lot, maybe you change the topic of what is happening and it would be irrelevant to the conversation. So be careful of how you are going to put it. All right? I mean that mentioned your name, your friend. For example, I visited this place or Takht Jamshid as part of my field trip when I was on a vacation with one of my friends, one of my besties, Ali, from the same school last year. Yeah, that's good. But if you go and talk about 2 sentences about your Ali, it means that you are diverging from your topic of conversation, and it would be a negative score for you. Okay? All right. Hamida, what about you? How would you say this thing?
I went there along my son to visit this ancient place that is a famous building.
Very good. Very good. Okay. That's good. All right. Okay. What else? The next bullet point was that explain how you felt about this historical building. Okay. When you want to talk about your feelings, so actually you are going to give your impression or your feelings about it. And so you would say that, for example, I was quite excited. I was quite excited. Or what else? Excited. Or I was exhilarated. Or on the contrary, you would say that, but I found out that it is not my cup of tea. I found out.
It made me a good impression, for example.
Yes, it had a good impression on me. I found out it was not my cup of tea after all. What does it mean? It wasn't my cup of tea. It's a good expression. Sometimes it's good to use some expression.
It wasn't my cup of tea. Yes. I don't know. It's a good impression. What does it mean?
Can you guess what does it mean?
It's calmer.
No. I found that it was not my cup of tea. Means that I found out that I'm not interested in that place. I didn't like it.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Or as you mentioned, Farhad, I had a good impression. It had a good impression on me. Or I got a nice feeling. I got a good impression from that. Okay. It was quite attractive for me. It was very attractive for me. It was very attractive for me. And after you talk about your feelings, you can even mention whether you want to go back again there, or would you suggest that to anyone else or not? Okay, would you go back? I think that I will go back and visit that place again in future. Place again in future. Or you would say that I would suggest that place to anyone who wants to see a nice place. I would suggest that anyone. So you can talk about your feelings, your impressions, and then you would say that whether you want to go back to that place or no. Actually, I don't think that I would think about it anymore, and I had enough of that. But I think that if anyone asks me about a nice place to visit in India, I would suggest that place for him or to him. All right. Okay. So again, going back to our sentences, I can write, for example, so when I was there, Or we can say that all in all, or generally speaking, all in all, it had,
Last but not at least.
yes, but not least, last but not least, it had quite a great impression on me. Or you can say that it touched my feelings in a nice way. It's a good expression. It touched my feelings in a nice way. So, or you can say that it was quite attractive for me. It was quite or very attractive for me. Or you can say that I don't know how to. I feel like it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. All of these expressions are nice to talk about your feelings, or expressions like these. Okay, ever seen. If I have time, and then you can continue like this. If I have time and can afford it, I would go back and visit that place again. If I have time and can afford it in the future, I would go back and visit that place again. Or you can say or, and definitely I would suggest that place to anyone who is planning to see a nice and ancient piece of history. Instead of building, I'm saying piece of history, or historical place. I can say piece of history. Okay, of course you can change these things. They are not set sentences. You can change this. It is the way that I can put my feelings about it. And definitely I would suggest that place. Or you can say that I wouldn't suggest anyone to see that place because I think that it's a waste of time. Sometimes you can even show your negative feelings while you are talking about an ancient place. For example, you have been to some places that you didn't like it, and you can say that. For example, I wouldn't suggest that place to anyone because of this, because of that. All right? So after all, remember, always remember, IELTS examiners are not measuring or evaluating you based on the ideas or the ideas you are talking about, whether they are negative ideas or positive ideas. No, they are just evaluating your English and how you're using words, whether you are talking accurately, whether you are talking with the right meaning. Are you using the correct words? Okay, it's your language, not your ideas, which are important. Okay, What about you, Fahad?
Mr. Lezgui,
Yeah.
if I had time or if I have time and could afford
Because it's a
in
future.
future.
It's future. If I
Uh-huh.
have time and can afford it in future,
I
I will.
would go back.
You can use will here. I will go back.
Will.
Okay.
It's better.
You can use
I
would
will
as
go.
well because you're not
I
sure
will
about
go.
it. You are not sure. When
Uh,
you are not sure about it, you can use would instead of will, even in the first conditional sentence. All right.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Lezgui. This session was very useful because step by step we continue and make a conversation. It was very useful. Thank
All
you.
right. No worries. Okay. So let me talk about my historical building. Yeah. So I'm going to put the whole story in a conversation log. For example, suppose that you are asking me this question. I have this cue card. You are my examiner. I am going to talk about it. I have written that and you can see it. So India has a rich blend of Eastern and Western construction. I'm giving a background. India has a rich blend of Eastern and Western constructions. One such source of admiration is the Taj Mahal in Agra. On the exterior, it has a rich calligraphy of Persian poems, abstract forms, and vegetative motifs. Passages from the Holy Quran are inscribed all over the complex. On the interior, it has exquisite flower carvings and intricate pierce works in marble. My friend and I got tired of the monotony of life. We wanted some escape from the daily routine. So we planned for a trip to Agra and explored the iconic Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal was built by Shah Jahan in memory of his wife Mumtaz. It stands as a testimony to the Mughal architecture. We arranged for a guide who told us that materials for construction of Taj Mahal were bought from across the world. He told us that 28 types of precious stones were studded on the white marble, and that the total cost of construction was estimated to be 32 million rupees. All right, and while I was there, I could not take my eyes off the building. It was a mahal of love built out of love. It seems to me spread vibes of love all around. I was wondering where they derived inspiration from. We took a lot of photographs in the evening and I treasured them all. On our way back to the hotel, I purchased a tiny plastic doll of Taj Mahal, which I have placed in my reading room. All right? Okay, let's go back and see what's happening here. How was it? So where it was and what it looks like. India has a rich blend. So what am I doing here? Actually, I'm giving a background first, a background of where I saw this. So I'm going to talk about that it was in India, but I'm not only mentioning the word India. I'm going to give you some idea about where is India and to prepare your mind to accept the beauty and the splendor of the Taj Mahal. All right, so India has a rich blend of instance. So I'm giving you a background information about the city. Background about the place, about the city. Yes. And then I'm going to, on the exterior, it has rich calligraphy. What it looks like. You see? On the exterior. Exterior means the outer walls. So it is what it looks like. What it looks like. So guys, you see, it's not one sentence or two sentences. I'm using about 5 or 6 sentences to extend my ideas. So I can give a bit of background information about India, my feelings, because this kind of topic is a kind of topic which shows your feelings, your impressions about the place that you have visited. So you can easily talk about your feelings. So India has a rich blend. You see, when I say rich, it's my feeling. And when I say admiration, one source of admiration, I'm showing my feeling. So it's a positive feeling. Yeah. On the exterior, it has rich calligraphy. Again, rich calligraphy of Persian poems, abstract forms, and vegetative motifs. Yeah. Motifs are some pictures which are you have seen in Iran's mosques that there are some pictures on the tiles on the ceilings or things like that. There are some designs. They are called motifs. Passages from Holy Quran are inscribed. So I'm talking about what else I can see on the exterior, on the walls. So not only Persian poems, abstract forms, motifs, but also even some passages from Holy Quran are inscribed all over the complex. Inscribed means that they are written by carving the wall, not by only paints. On the interior, so it was exterior, now I'm coming inside the mosque. On the interior, it has exquisite. Exquisite is a nice adjective. Exquisite means great, fantastic. Flower carvings, and intricate. Intricate means complex, very detailed. A detailed pierce works in marble. Yeah, marble. You know the marble, yeah? Most of our mosques have their floors made out of marble. Okay, so why you went there? So I don't say that I went there just for vacation. No, look at here. My friends and I got tired of the monotony of life. So it's the main reason maybe that why I went there. We wanted some escape from the daily routine. So got tired of, it's a good phrasal verb, monotony of life. Monotony means the life that is getting boring for you. We wanted some escape from the daily life routine. Escape from daily routine. It's a good collocation. So we planned for a trip to Agra and explore the iconic Taj Mahal. So iconic, another nice adjective here. Iconic. What does it mean, iconic? The place that everyone knows it around the world, because it's like a gem in a city or in a country that everyone has heard about. Taj Mahal was built by Shah Jahan. I'm giving some background information about this place again, right? But this background is not very lengthy. It is not long. It is not boring. Yeah, just a very quick background information that why Taj Mahal? Why not somewhere else? It stands as a testimony to the Mughal architecture. We arranged for a guide who told us that material was construction of Taj Mahal were brought from across the world. Were brought from. So the materials means for example, the marbles, the tiles, whatever, the walls were imported from across the world. And I can put brought in as well here, a good preposition here. Brought in means import something, import rather than export. Brought in from across the world. He told us that 28 types of precious stones were studded. Studded means placed on top of each other. Were studded on the white marble, and that the total cost of construction was estimated to 32 million rupees. You see that even I'm giving some ideas that it is not in the bullet points, guys. Yeah? But I'm giving some ideas to mention what it looks like, because I'm going to talk about why that place is attractive to me. So I'm talking about how amazingly it is built, the construction, how splendid it is. All right. Okay, and how you feel. While I was there, I could not take my eyes off. Take my eyes off. I couldn't take my eyes off the building. It means I was very attracted to this building. Yes, it's a good expression again. It was a mahal of love built out of love. Again, you see? It was mahal of love built out of love. It seems to spread vibes of love. Spread vibe means spread good energy. Spread vibe means spread good energy of love all around. I was wondering where. I was wondering means I didn't know where they derived the inspiration from. We took a lot of photographs in the evening and I treasured them all. I treasure them all means they are very precious for me. They are very valuable for me. I treasure all my pictures. Yes, means they are very valuable for me. So it's a good, strong verb. On our way back to hotel, I purchased a tiny plastic doll of Taj Mahal, which I have placed in my reading room. Okay, so it shows, even when I said that it's a doll of Taj Mahal, it means that I was very attracted by this place. I was very charmed that I even got something as a souvenir from Taj Mahal. So you see, guys, when we go back and have a quick look at these things, so we have different elements that makes this text very powerful to get a 7+ or even 8+ score for this speaking. For example, we have rich blend of Easter. Rich blend, it's a good collocation with a strong adjective. Admiration, one source of admiration, again, collocation, another collocation. And strong noun. And again, intricate, again, another adjective, strong adjective. Exquisite, a very strong. Instead of saying very nice, you see, exquisite. Strong adjectives. Strong adjectives and strong verbs will improve your score quite a lot in a way that you cannot even imagine. And then I got tired of phrasal verb. Phrasal verb. And escape from, phrasal verb. Monotony of life, strong noun. Plan for a trip. Again, phrasal verb. Iconic, strong adjective. You see? Brought in from across. Instead of using import, you can use phrasal verb again. Here, brought in from. You see? These are the reasons that you can say that this is speaking gonna have a high score in it. And there is a good expression here. I couldn't take my eyes off. A nice expression. Showing your feelings. To express your feelings. Spread vibe. Spread vibe is a good collocation. And again, treasure is another strong verb. So you see, what makes a good speaking is there are many factors that give that makes your speaking a high score speaking. One of them is whether it's to the point or not. Relevant ideas. So by relevant ideas means, does it have any coherence? And then how ideas are connected. By this, we mean cohesion. Whether sometimes you have some ideas, but you don't know how to connect them. Did you see any, for example, transition words here? For example, so. See here, so. It's a good transition. So it is showing the result. And while you're using while to show that this sentence is connected to the second sentence. All right? And yeah, but most of them are said like a story. And this story is very well connected. Doesn't mean that you always need to use transition words like moreover, in addition, or things like that, because in real life, in speaking, in writing, you need to use them, but in speaking, sometimes you don't use them. Rather, you repeat the main words or the main topic, so that the sentences are connected to each other, right? We have some transition in speaking, but transitions in speaking are quite different. For example, instead of saying moreover, or you can say furthermore, you can say on top of that. You can say also. You see, these are better than saying moreover, furthermore. Moreover, furthermore is a kind of written transition. We don't use them quite a lot in speaking, all right? Okay, so connected ideas. And then whether the words, strong words rather than simple words. Are the words used accurately? Accurately means that if you are using a collocation, are they correct collocations? Instead of, for example, I said that a rich blend of Eastern. Instead of blend of, you may use a rich combo of Eastern and Western, which is not a good combination. A rich blend of. Can you say, for example, instead of rich, affluent blend of Eastern? Because affluent and rich are synonymous to each other. But can you use affluent here? No, because it doesn't make any collocation with the word blend. Yeah, but you can say it has a rich mix of or mixture of. That's good, but blend is more, stronger and more beautiful to use in your speaking. So accurately, the accuracy, let's say, accuracy of the words means whether the words are used in the right place or not. You cannot use every word everywhere. And collocations. We saw a lot of collocations here. Another one is phrasal verbs. Did you see enough phrasal verbs here? Of course. We saw a lot of phrasal verbs here. Yeah, these are the things. Of course, there are some other things like pronunciation. Not your accent, but your pronunciation is important. For example, if you are a pronunciation and intonation. For example, if I say India has in my speaking, India has a rich blend of Eastern and Western construction. It is like a robotic speaking. They never speak like this in English. They say that India's a rich blend of. Even they connect blend with of. Blend of Eastern and they connect these things. Eastern and Western constructions. They don't say constructions. Constructions, no. Or if you say south, sooth or south instead of south, they don't understand you. So you will lose the score. All right? So pronunciation is important. But your accent, whether it's an Indian accent, Persian accent, I don't know, French accent, it's not important. As long as they can understand you, it's okay. All right? Accent is not important, but pronunciation and intonation is important. For example, when you are, what about intonation? When you are talking, when you are showing your feelings, do you raise your voice and then fall your voice? Or is it like a monotonous voice? For example, when you want to say, while I was there, I could not take my eyes off the building. Do you say it like this? While I was there, I could not take my eyes off the building. No, of course not, because it doesn't show your feelings. You should say, while I was there, I could not take my eyes off the building. You see? You're showing your feelings, that how much you adored, you loved the Taj Mahal. Or, for example, it was a mahal of love built out of love. That is, it was a mahal of love built out of love. It doesn't show any feelings if you talk like this. All right? So intonation is very important. And connected speech, pronunciation and connected speech. I mean that you connect the sentences together. And connected speech. For example, I told you, pronunciation and connected speech. Don't say pronunciation and connected speech. No, not like this. Not separate words, but a sentence which looks like a real speaking sentence. For example, when you want to say on the exterior, you say on the exterior. No, on the exterior, on the exterior, on the. You connect on the. On the exterior, it is rich calligraphy of Persian poems, abstract forms, and vegetative motives. You see, sometimes you connect some words together. This is called connected speech. All right. Once again, these are very important if you want to get a high score in speaking. Of course, in accuracy, when we are talking about accuracy, correct words and grammar. If your grammar is wrong, you don't get a good score. Okay? Any question?
No, it's very good, Yusuf.
All right.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay, guys, let's go back to our main book. So, just give me a second. All right. If you remember, last time we came up to this point that we had a listening. Just give me a second. Yes. We are supposed to to work on this listening skill, making questions from statements. So, look at number 1. The questions below are taken from a multiple choice task. Yeah, questions below. These ones. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is called, this task is multiple choice because you have different choices here. You can tick one of them. You can use one of them. Of course, in your exam, you are not ticking. Rather, you are writing A, B, or C in your answer booklet or answer sheet. What's the general topic? What do you think? Look at these sentences and the choices. What is the general topic of the whole listening that you are going to talk about? Can you guess?
It is about a festival. Festival which some student has visit in, for example, many years ago, and now in this conversation, they are going to talk about that.
Is it gonna be a dancing festival? What kind of, or music festival? What kind of festival do you think it's gonna be? Why?
Science. It means science.
Very good, science. Because see, we have the word science in the first sentence, and then number 4, scientific age. You see, and teaching, teachers. The word student, teacher. So it's about science. It's gonna be about science. Nice. Okay. So, anticipating the topic of the listening is gonna be very helpful for you, because it gives you some ideas that what you are going to listen about. What group of people is the speaker talking to? What kind of people is the speaker? Suppose that the speaker is giving a lecture.
Student of a school. Students
Graduate
of school.
Graduate school. Could be, yes. And you see, on number 2, student teachers. What does it mean? Student teachers.
They are amateur teachers.
Very good. Or the teacher, or future teachers. The students who are going to be teachers in future, in near future. So they are studying teaching. Yeah. Okay. Right. And look at number 2. Some of the questions stems are phrased as statements. Can you rephrase each statement as a question? For example, look at the example. Teachers visiting a festival should arrive at. It is a statement of the question, when should teachers visiting the festival arrive? So if you change the sentence, teachers visiting a festival should arrive at, you can change it to question. Suppose that you have a sentence, you want to change it to question, or the question, you want to change it to a statement sentence. Can you change the other question as a statement? The student teachers should arrange visit that last. For example, number 2. It's a statement. Can you change it to a relevant question?
What should a student teacher do after visit?
No.
Should do?
What should it's arrange? Not what. What's the meaning of the word last what? Here?
When?
The word last here means the length of something. To have some length. How long? Yeah. How long? Yeah. How long the visits? How long the visits should the student teachers arrange? Thing like that. Question like this. Because it is showing the length of the visits done by student's teacher. Yeah. Okay. Another sentence which is in a statement. Number 3 is another statement. Can you change it to a question?
What is the most important purpose of festival?
Very
What
good.
is?
Festival visit. What is the most important purpose of festival visits? Very good. And 4.
What is the central feature of
Feature.
Osman? What is?
What's the center
Oh,
feature?
when is the central feature? When is
Future, no, features. Means characteristics.
feature?
What
When is
are,
the
not
feature?
when, what.
What
What are the central features?
age?
What are the central features of our scientific age?
Feature.
Yes, features. Characteristics. What are the central features of our scientific age? What are the characteristics? What are the main features? What are the main characteristics of our scientific age? This is the question. Okay, number 5 and number 1 are questions themselves, so we don't need to change them. Okay, so why we change them?
You are going to mention that when we have a question doesn't start with WH, we have to change it to WH in order to understand better.
Yes, exactly. I mean that the purpose of this changing is that whether you understand what the sentence is asking you about or not. Yeah. So if you change it to a question, you will understand that what this sentence is asking. Because some of them are not a question. They are statements that you have to complete them with A, B, or C. And if you change them to question, you can understand it better. All right. Okay, good. Now, guys, let's listen and find out the answers to these questions. First of all, please read the questions 1 to 5 and underline the keywords in the questions and the keywords you think are the keywords in the choices. All right? After 30 seconds, I'm going to play the track. So, for example, in number 1, head of science is that one of the keywords. Yeah. The other one is do. In number 2, in the choices, arrange the visit, confirm placements, provide information. These are the keywords. The student teachers, number 2, the student teachers should arrange visits that last. Student teacher, arrange last. Arrange visit that last means the length of the visits. So days are important, whether 1 or 2, 2 or 3 days, or all 3 days. Okay, what about 3? The most important purpose of festival visits. Purpose of visit. Better exam grades. Create enthusiasm, means interest. Enthusiasm means interest for science. Enable students to have fun, to enjoy it, to have fun. 4, central features and central characteristics of scientific age. What is it? Invention, improvements, unusual events, interest and enthusiasm for science. What, number 5, what kind of specialists are teaching maths? Specialists that teach maths nowadays. Okay, so let's listen. Listen carefully.
I think nearly all of you have received confirmation of your school placements for next term, and as part of your activities, we'll be asking you to take responsibility for promoting a school visit to the Dorchester Science Festival. Of course, the heads of science at your schools will be aware of the festival and should have all the details of it, but all the heads of science at your schools will be looking to you to be the main organisers and motivators of a visit to the festival. They'll give you the documents you need. We hope that you will motivate pupils at your schools to take an interest in the festival. It runs for 3 days. There are day tickets and special 3-day tickets, and schools have the extra option of a 2-day ticket. We hope you will encourage your pupils to visit it on 1 or 2 days, but, most important of all, we hope you will use the festival to generate a lively interest in science that will last all year round and provide the school with a lasting benefit. This will, with luck, lead to improved examination results in science subjects. And let's not forget, we hope your pupils will have a lot of fun too. Needless to say, your performance in achieving these aims will count towards your final exam grade at the end of the year. Now, let me just say a few words on why a science festival. Science is part of our everyday world in a way that is different now from before. Of course, we are used to having the benefit of scientific inventions. We are used to the aeroplane, the motor car, the space rocket and so on. But now we live in a truly scientific age, which means one where inventions and improvements are matters of routine, rather than occasional and unusual events. We have become a really scientific society. Yet we find that we are failing to interest and enthuse the young in this. Fewer young people are choosing to study science at school after the age of 16, and even fewer at university. As a result, we have fewer teachers coming into schools to teach science. And many science teachers are not teaching their specialism. For example, I know of several cases where maths is being taught by biologists and chemistry is being taught by physicists. We urgently need another 3,000 science teachers in England at least. That's why we look to you, the science teachers who are starting off your careers, to inject enthusiasm and wonder into the study of science. And we hope the Dorchester Festival will help you to do this.
All right. So, what is your guess for number 1? What's the answer?
Number for 1, C is true, maybe.
Provide information.
Yes.
Provide information.
Thank
Okay. Right. Let's listen again.
Track 8. Now, I think nearly all of you have received confirmation of your school placements for next term, and as part of your activities, we'll be asking you to take responsibility for promoting a school visit to the Dorchester Science Festival. Of course, the heads of science at your schools will be aware of the festival and should have all the details of it. But
Okay, and yes, head of science should have all details about it. To have details about it means to provide information about the festival. Very good. So instead of information, we have the word detail. And instead of have, provided for you. Okay, so C is correct. Very good. All right, what about 2? What did you guess for 2?
A is true. 1 or 2 days, maybe.
1 or 2 days. The student teachers should arrange visits that last. So, always,
Until
all right, always remember that if you hear 2 or 3 numbers, always listen carefully, and most of the times the last number is the correct choice. Sometimes they give the first numbers just for a background information, or sometimes they correct their ideas or information after repeating the numbers. All right, listen here and see what was the correct answer.
But all the heads of science at your schools will be looking to you to be the main organisers and motivators of a visit to the festival. They'll give you the documents you need. We hope that you will motivate pupils at your schools to take an interest in the festival. It runs for 3 days. There are day tickets and special 3-day tickets. And schools have the extra option of a 2-day ticket. We hope you will encourage your pupils to visit it on 1 or 2 days. But, most important of all, we hope you will use the...
Okay, so we encourage you, we want you to encourage your students for 1 or 2 days. Yeah? Listen again.
2 days. And schools have the extra option of a 2-day ticket. We hope you will encourage your pupils to visit...
We hope you encourage your students to visit
it on 1 or 2 days.
on 1 or 2 days. So very good. A is the
Yes,
correct
right.
answer. 1 or 2 days. All right. Let's listen again for the rest.
But, most important of all, we hope you will use the festival to generate a lively interest in science that will last all year round and provide the school with a...
Okay, so what's the third one? The most important purpose of festival visit is to...
B is true, maybe. Motivate people, enthusiasts means encourage.
Yeah,
Doesn't
create
it mean
enthusiasm means to create interest for other people. So make the other
So B
people
is
have
true, B is
interest in.
true.
All right.
B is true.
Okay, let's listen
a
again.
lasting science that will last always the festival to generate most of your pupils to visit it on 1 or 2 days.
Okay.
But, most important of all, we hope you will use the festival to generate a lively interest in science that will...
To generate a lively interest. Generate a lively interest in science. Interest in science. What does it mean? To generate means to produce. A lively interest means to enthusiasm. Lively interest in science. So again, we see that the most important purpose of festival visit is to create enthusiasm. So B is correct. Yes. Again, the answer is this restatement or synonym of what we hear in the track.
That will last all year round and provide the school with a lasting benefit. This will...
Okay. And what about the central features of scientific age? Number 4.
Invention and improvement, A maybe is true.
With luck,
Hamid, the same idea? They have the same idea? Okay, listen, Sam.
lead to improved examination results in science subjects. And let's not forget, we hope your pupils will have a lot of fun too. Needless to say, your performance in achieving these aims will count towards your final exam grade at the end of the year. Now, let me just say a few words on why a science festival. Science is part of our everyday world in a way that is different now from before. Of course, we are used to having the benefit of scientific inventions. We are used to the aeroplane, the motor car, the space rocket and so on. But now we live in a truly scientific age, which means one where inventions and improvements are matters of routine, rather than...
Yes. So A is correct. What did you hear in the last sentence? Listen.
Which means one where inventions and improvements are matters of routine.
Inventions and improvements are matters of routine. Are matters of routine means are the main features or central features of our scientific age nowadays. So A is the correct answer here. And what about 5? What kind of specialists are teaching maths?
Because she speak about invention and improvement, so it's related to physics, I think. So it's A2. Maybe.
Actually, no. Actually, she mentions exactly that what kind of specialists are nowadays inappropriately are teaching maths. Listen.
Rather than occasional and unusual events, we have become a really scientific society. Yet we find that we are failing to interest and enthuse the young in this. Fewer young people are choosing to study science at school after the age of 16, and even fewer at university. As a result, we have fewer teachers coming into schools to teach science. And many science teachers are not teaching their specialism.
Listen here.
For example, I know of several cases where maths is being taught by biologists.
Maths is being taught by biologists. No? Yeah. This is not correct. This is inappropriate, actually, that she mentions, that why they need more science teachers. Yeah.
And chemistry is being taught by physicists. We urgently need another 3,000 science teachers in England, at least. That's why we look to you, the science teachers who are starting off your careers, to inject enthusiasm and wonder into the study of science.
Right.
And we hope that...
Okay, good. So you see that I think that personally, answering multiple choice questions are easier than some of other types of listening questions, because some other types of listening questions you have to write the words. And if you make a small mistake, you will lose a score. But here it's just you choose a letter, and that's it. So you don't have to worry about your spelling, your correct words, exact words that you're going to use. So to me, comparing to other types of listening question types, this is the easiest one. I don't know, what are your feelings? Do you think the same?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's easy, but as you talked out, at first we have to analyze the question.
Exactly.
It's important to analyze, anticipate the question.
Very good.
Anticipate.
Of course, anticipation is the same or common feature for all types of questions. So analyzing makes the listening easier for you. Anticipating is making the or makes the listening quite easier for you. So always you should do it before listening to something. And yes, you're right. And most of the time, yes, these types of questions are easier to answer, but sometimes the listening words or the listening topic is much more complicated than the other types of questions. I mean that these multiple choice questions, their listening is more difficult, more technical than the other listenings. All right. Okay, very good. Nice. I think that we did a good job. We spoke about our things. We listened. A good example of multiple choice. We did a lot today, huh? Didn't we?
It's very useful
Okay.
because step by step with a maid or a conversation and describe or speaking was very useful, and we will use your expression a lot
Yeah.
in oral speaking.
Thank you. All right. Very good.